Before the world learned to fear her gaze, Medusa was known for her beauty. She walked the marble halls of Athena's temple with hair that shimmered like sunlight on the Aegean and eyes that held the calm of deep water. Pilgrims whispered that she must have been favored by the goddess herself. How else could any mortal shine so brightly within sacred walls? Yet admiration in ancient Greece could be as dangerous as envy. Praise turned to rumors, and rumors reached Olympus, where attention from the gods was rarely a blessing. One deity in particular listened. Poseidon, lord of the sea, saw Medusa and desired her. He pursued her through the columns of the temple, past rows of still-burning oil lamps. What happened next is veiled in words we struggle to translate across millennia. A violation of sanctuary, a shattering of vows, an act that forever changed Medusa's fate. In a single moment, she became both victim and accused, caught between divine powers that meted out judgment with no concern for justice. Athena returned to her temple and found the silence broken, the air heavy with dishonor. Instead of confronting Poseidon, her rival, her equal, she turned her wrath on Medusa. The mortal who once served her was transformed. Silky hair twisted into living serpents, perfect skin hardened into scales under moonlit green. The gaze that once captivated began to petrify. One look and flesh became stone. Medusa, whose only fault was crossing the path of a god, was banished to a desolate island, sentenced to solitude and fear. Yet monsters make convenient warnings. Sailors who strayed too near the Gorgon Isles spoke of statues scattered across cliffs, broken shapes frozen in their final terror. Stories spread that Medusa was born cruel, that her heart matched her hideous face. Few remembered she had ever been human. Even fewer remembered who had made her a monster. Years later, a different hero entered the tale. Perseus, son of Zeus, found himself bound by an impossible quest: deliver the head of Medusa to King Polydectes, a ruler eager to remove the young demigod from the picture. The gods, always invested in their own dramas, armed Perseus for the task. Athena gave him a polished shield, Hephaestus a curved blade, Hermes winged sandals, and Hades a helm of darkness that rendered its wearer unseen. None offered a word in Medusa's defense. Vengeance on Poseidon's victim would serve divine politics just fine. Across wine-dark seas, Perseus flew, guided by starlight and the whispered directions of the Grey, 3 prophetic sisters who shared a single eye. When he reached the island, he approached backward, using the shield like a mirror to avoid Medusa's deadly stare. She lay sleeping among her petrified guardians, silent stone proof that even in nightmares she never sought out violence. It came to her. One stroke of the sickle severed her head, and from her neck leapt Pegasus, the winged horse, and Chrysaor, the golden warrior, children of Medusa and Poseidon, born at the moment their mother died. Perseus carried the head in a sack, its power intact, turning enemies to stone whenever he revealed it. The weapon forged from another's pain served him well, slaying the sea monster Cetus, saving Andromeda, and terrifying courts that tried to control him. Eventually, he offered the relic to Athena, who set it on her shield, the Aegis. Thus Medusa's face returned to the temple she once tended, now a symbol of divine might, stripped of her voice, locked behind bronze and leather. But myths evolve as long as people keep telling them. To some, Medusa remained the beast at the edge of the map, warning sailors that curiosity invites ruin. To others, she became a protector, her severed head carved above doors to ward off evil, painted on shields to frighten enemies, even woven into bridal veils to keep harm at bay. Over centuries, philosophers pondered her legend, artists rendered her anguish, and modern thinkers reclaimed her story as a parable of injustice, how victims are punished while predators walk free. What does Medusa teach us now? That beauty can be weaponized, that power can pivot on a single misused glance. She shows how easily a narrative can flip, how a young woman bound to service and sacred vows became the embodiment of terror because it suited a god's pride and a goddess's anger. In Medusa, we see the peril of blaming the hurt for their wounds, of condemning the silenced for crimes committed against them. Yet even stone crumbles, revealing cracks where new meaning grows. Today, her image adorns emblems of resilience. Fashion houses reclaim her defiant stare. Activists lift her story as a caution and rallying cry. Medusa no longer hides in caves. She stands at the center of conversation, forcing us to confront who decides what defines a monster. If you ever find yourself walking beneath starry skies along a lonely coast, imagine the sound of distant waves colliding with jagged cliffs. Hear the hiss of wind through unseen serpent coils. Remember that once upon a forgotten shore, a woman punished for another's sin dared to live on her own terms, daring the world to meet her eyes, only to discover the world was too afraid to look. And if this exploration of Medusa's legacy stirs your curiosity, stay with Dark Age mythology. Ahead lie tales of queens turned captives, prophets cursed for speaking truth, and warriors who paid for glory with their lives. Subscribe, and together we'll keep these ancient voices echoing, warning, haunting, and inspiring us still.